the Michigan Sports Truth podcast on the Stables Network, the show that provides research and statistics all about the Detroit and Michigan sports teams, whether fans like it or not. The Michigan Sports Truth podcast. Let's see. And the text exposes and reveals actual and hidden facts and truth that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. Breck Smith, please mute yourself so I don't hear the darn echo. Thank you. I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at DT2Phillips. Ed Smith has made his return. Follow him on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at EdSmith313. And we have a special guest. We've had him on before. Ed, I'd like to welcome back Urinating Tree, the random crap posting mastermind of all sports ball. Urinating Tree, welcome back to the show. Urinating Tree will be back in a minute. But Ed, how we doing?
Doing well, Taylor. Good to be back on the show, and picked a good timing, I guess, I suppose, with the guests you have. So ready to get into it.
Yep, absolutely. Follow the show on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. Also like its Facebook page, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. Check out its website, the MichiganSportsTruthPodcast.com, and scour the Stables Network's new YouTube channel, The Stables Network. Also like the Stables Network on Facebook, and follow it on Twitter at Stables Network and on Instagram at The Stables Network. Plus, listen to it on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, CastBox, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Blog Talk Radio. Our disclaimer reads, as we wait for Urinating Tree to return, the Michigan Sports Truth podcast does not represent or defame any of the teams it covers, nor does it represent or compete against any of the mainstream media in the state of Michigan. It is also not for entertainment or debating purposes. It only detects, exposes, and reveals honest, actual, and hidden truth, facts, and statistics about them because the truth is out there. I believe Urinating Tree is back. So,
yes, sir.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, welcome back to the show, Urinating Tree. Been quite a while.
It's been a couple months. I know that. Thanks for having me on again, man.
Oh, it's no problem, Tree, and happy early Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you. You too, guys.
Absolutely. Now let's light this dumpster fire here. I'll have to go without 5 points vids though, but we're doing it here in the state of Michigan. We're lighting our own dumpster fire.
Yeah, I think you guys have done that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Michigan Sports Truth and the dumpster fire unite. So got a lot of stuff to talk about. The Lions bringing back Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. Boo. The Red Wings, yeah. And the Red Wings still tanking, losing to the Kings and the Blue Jackets. We also got a recap on Mike Babcock mistreating Franz and how he was blamed by McCarty for the 09 Cup loss. Got the Pistons making a bit of a surge before losing to the Toronto Raptors and the Dallas Mavericks. They beat the Houston Rockets, but we'll get to them later on. Got Michigan and Michigan State college basketball, plus the bowl games in college football, the Wolverines and the Spartans. And Tariq Black entering the transfer portal. Also, we're going to have Ed and Tree's takes on Al Avila's asinine rebuilding comments during the winter meetings after Ronnie Rodriguez was claimed off waivers by the Milwaukee Brewers the week before our last episode. So let's start off with the Lions here. Right after they lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in humiliating fashion, 38-17 at Ford Field. And trust me, Lions fans are being lost by the team, and that franchise deserves it. That's no surprise. And what it also was not a surprise is the Lions bringing back Matt Patricia, their head coach, and general manager Bob Quinn. But the one thing that shocked and upset me was a headline of an article written by Chris Burke of The Athletic Detroit that about Quinn and Patricia, that the Ford family does not plan to sell the team. That is just baffling to me. But the Ford family just doesn't give up. It just doesn't. Ed, we'll start with you, and then we'll have Tree speak on it. Ed, this is just too
basically thanks, Taylor. This game was essentially over in the first half. Everything after halftime was just a formality. After, the fact that they went down 21-3, they gave up over 330 yards of offense, and they themselves could barely get past 50. I understand injuries were part of it. I mean, for goodness sakes, they had to resort to starting a running back by the name of Wes Hills. I didn't know who he was until literally just watching him that day. I figured, hey, maybe you can grab Zach Zinner off of the practice squad and have him resurrect for the fifth time this decade. But anyways, between the injuries and the fact that the whole morale, you can just tell the whole entire team has just been affected. It's just it's parlayed in how they played so far. Darius Slay, despite getting the Pro Bowl selection, this has not been his best year this year. Yes, I like the fact that Trey Flowers is starting to get production numbers and getting sacks, but it's too little too late. You saw in this game personified with Jameis Winston wrapped up at least once or twice, if not three times, on sacks by the defense, and somehow, some way, he got out of it, made a play happen, and just prevented a disaster. Which, again, considering the fact that this is famous Jameis we're talking about here, I'm surprised he didn't have at least 2 or 3 turnovers. But he didn't. So to his credit, he produced while not giving the other team a chance to stay in the game, and that, in my opinion, above all, was the main difference in the Lions losing this game. Now, do I sound disappointed or hurt? No, because this team has been used to punching me below the belt now for the past 26 years of my life. I'm well used to that, please. I'm just numb to that at that point. What I'm now caring about is how do you preserve your upcoming draft picks? Because we've seen now in recent years, really, the draft is this team's Super Bowl. It's been that way now for a very long time. And so what you need to do with considering at this upcoming draft is, hey, the season is lost. It's over. It went down the moment Stafford went down, if we can be honest. And so from that point on, it's just been Tank City. I love what you're doing so far in terms of that effort, but still, the question is, let's say you pull off a miracle of all miracles and you wind up in the number 2 spot. Who's to say you're even going to get the guy that you want? Because there are reports saying that Chase Young may consider going back to Ohio State for his senior year. So, where do you go from there? Because that's not just a position, a player, or a spot you need. That's just an impact person that you can plug into your defense because God knows you need it. And if he's not there, who else do you get? So it would be very Lions of them to go through all this effort or and not get the guy that they want, or start winning meaningless games at the end of the year, which further ruins their draft chances, and then they end up missing on a guy like a Chase Young or someone else to that effect. So I'm not surprised by that. I'm also not surprised by the fact that, A, Patricia and Quinn are being retained, and B, the team is not being sold anytime soon, because for decades, going back to when Bill Ford Sr. was still alive and was owning this team, this whole ownership and model has been nothing but tone deaf. And by the way, Tree, just letting you know beforehand, we're going to be referencing your vids a lot tonight. This is one of them. The true definition of insanity. What we've seen for decade after decade after decade after decade, with superstar talent after superstar talent after superstar talent having their careers wasted here. Of course, 0-16. Of course, being owned by the Packers and the Bears and the Vikings as if they were actual intellectual property. We've seen that, and then some. The coaches, the quarterbacks, the GMs, all that has been revolving door, but the one constant, which is the Ford family. And really, if you want to point at it, that's the center crux of all the entire issues here. So now, with the fact that now Bill Sr. is gone and now Martha is, by proxy, the new owner or the current owner, it's just the situations where, Tree, you mentioned before in your Chicago Bears vid long ago, we're just waiting for the old lady to croak. Because it is a very similar situation to what the Bears had with the McCaskies. Now, as for a succession plan, I'm not entirely sure the details about that, but I would figure, when the day inevitably does come, the kids should do the right thing and just sell it off to the highest bidder. No, I don't know if it's going to be Jeff Bezos. I think he has other issues to worry about concerning whether or not his wife wants any more of his money than trying to own a football team. Dan Gilbert, no, just focus on staying home and recovering from your stroke. You do not need the added stress of this, believe me. So as to who would want to buy this team, let alone, take one out, just buy it off from the Fords, that still remains to be seen. But still, it's just yet another sad but yet not surprising example of how utterly pitiful and irrelevant this franchise is, has been, and seemingly will continue to be.
Yeah, and this Bezos thing, Peter Bezos, this thing that I've heard about on the that podcast, I forgot what it was, but it was hosted by Eli Zarrett and two other guys. But they talked about that guy, the possibility of him owning the team. It might not happen, but that'll have to wait until at some point in the future. But Tree, any follow-up takes?
I mean, he took the words right out of my mouth saying you're just waiting for Martha Ford to die. Because I feel like she's just in that mode where a lot of old owners get, where they get impatient with all the losing and they just want to win no matter what the cost. They're tired of rebuilding. Look at the Bengals. Look at the Bears. The Bears as of late, not, the ones that were good last year. But that's what a lot of old owners go through. Mike Ilitch, if you remember correctly.
Yep. Case in point.
And,
dying of cancer, and he was still giving out money like trees.
Oh, boy.
Also, shout out to Wes Hills. He went to college in Slippery Rock. That's about an hour north of here. I think he was the first pro athlete from that school. So, just a little FYI, but they got smoked by Tampa Bay. It was not even a contest. You're sitting there like, Jameis knows how to get yardage, touchdowns, and interceptions. And he did 2 of the 3 of those against your defense. And in regards to the Lions, keeping Patricia and Quinn, I'm disappointed by them, but part of me isn't surprised. The reason why I don't find it to be successful is because there's nothing that really gives me optimism in that regard. I'm not really a fan of what they've been doing with the team. I'm not big fan with how they're built. Their signings have been kind of lackluster at best. They feel like they're more or less trying to poorly skin the Patriots instead of, trying to forge their own identity. And the thing that really damns me about Patricia, and this is the same thing that went back to him in New England, it's his defenses. They are atrocious. Are they still around the 29th or 30th ranked defense in the league?
They have to be. They have to be by looking at them.
Definitely.
And because, you figure, I don't feel like they're even playing for him. It's just like they're just checked out. And, I mean, there is injuries, I get that. But your upside, even with, a Matt Stafford and a fully healthy team, was 8-8. So I don't know if you were going to be anything else like that.
Man, yeah, it's just totally dysfunctional, this Lions franchise. And Tree, about your Lions video that happened, that was out I don't know, 4 months ago. Like you pointed out, you were waiting for the right time to strike, and you just
pretty much. I mean, either that or it would have been now. I mean, that was long requested. But as I said, you're just waiting for the right moment. And remember, wasn't 9-7 not tolerated? And Matt Patricia's only gotten 9 wins in 2 years. So hey,
total. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you watched that video. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, my only regret being is that I almost hate the fact that the Lions have won a couple of championships in the 30s and the 50s. Otherwise, they were the perfect catalyst for a legacy of failure video. When you think about the year by year.
But it's also it would have to be a prolonged one, like a 70 years or something like that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, come on, think about it. We've had players die on the field. We've had players die mowing their lawn. We've had players injured and have their careers ended on the field. We've had players retire, walk away from the prime. Come on, the list goes on and on. Head coaches taking the win in overtime. Players running out the back of the end zone for safeties. You name it. Jim Schwartz throwing a challenge flag. God.
too early in
Schwartz fight with Jim
2012 on
Harbaugh.
Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, we'll get to him in a minute, momentarily.
Oh boy.
But, oh yeah, yeah, that got you going a little bit, Ed, didn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
just reminded me of constant disappointment, just like every Michigan team has done for me now since 2000.
Yeah, when they beat the Buckeyes on the road the last time. At the Horseshoe.
Or the last time last time they were really relevant when they won the BCS bowl game. Oh, hey, guess what? Tom Brady was their quarterback too. Who knew?
Of course. Tom Brady became a New England Patriot on his own. And guess what? Boom. Tom Brady, in 2001, in his first year in the NFL, won the Super Bowl with the Patriots, with Bill Belichick. First year.
I mean, granted, the help of surveillance recording will definitely aid you in assistance, but still, you got to go out there and play the game.
They won like 10 Super Bowls with the Patriots. Brady and Belichick. That's been going on and on and on for 2 decades. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
And they're still the defending Super Bowl champions, for goodness sake.
Yeah, they are the evil empire for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and
boy.
that's why you have
How long
people
will
trying
this
to
ever
spin them
last?
alive like the Lions.
Oh,
I know. When will this ever stop? They're just on fire right now.
The death of the earth.
Love them or hate them.
Trust me. We've been trying to call them dead for 5 years, and they've come back every time. That's why I'm not buying them now. They're thinking,
exactly.
the offense
Brady
is terrible. They're done. And it's like, no, Brady.
Right,
Brady.
400
yards.
Oh, I always got my eyes on them for the rest of my life. Trust me.
Yeah, just imagine he'll pull someone's he'll pull Chris Hogan out from underneath the grave and give him, hey, get 11 yards and $120, 120 yards, and with
They just
11
keep
catches.
rising from the dead. Yes.
Exactly. Necromancy. They are necromancy and voodoo magic personified. Okay, Greg Popovich and the St. Louis Cardinals wish they had this type of devil magic.
Oh my God! Is there any way to even put them out permanently? Put that age of Patriots out permanently, for goodness sake? My gosh, it can't last forever, for goodness sake.
Well, the league has been trying. That's why they've been doing investigation after investigation for the past 5 years.
I see. Tree, what were you saying?
Just watch. They'll put Bill Belichick's head in Ascension being and like one of those brains in Futurama, and he'll keep coaching into the 2400s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because we know that's how this goes.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Total domination by the Patriots of the Lions. So there. Well,
remember, you beat them last year. That was your Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they still won.
And Green Bay. We beat them
yeah.
and the freaking Packers.
Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was there that year. It was just they were bad.
Oh, they were, yeah. But look
Mason
at them now.
Crosby
They came
missed
back this
field
year.
goals too, so that helps.
Yeah, Mason Crosby. Oh my God. Yeah, he was just having trouble.
He just had a bad day.
Yep. Yeah, that was included in the video too. Yeah. So Lions at Broncos 405. The Broncos are a good team. I'm pretty sure they'll beat the Lions too. No doubt. Ed, I don't think we need a prediction on that one.
Yeah, Drew Lock he's been iffy, but I think he should look adequate enough against to tear this defense apart. So yeah, give me the Bronx and winning by a comfortable margin.
Yep. Tree.
I'd say Broncos in a close matchup. It'll still probably get ugly.
Still probably get ugly. Yeah. Yeah. Precautionary note right there. Yeah, I'm going to pick the Broncos to rout the Lions. The Lions have never had a good defense anyway, and even without Matthew Stafford, who is now thankfully out for the season, put on IR. Thank God. At least they did the right thing. Matt Patricia, the Lions, they were fined $110,000 for misusing Stafford, and that was finally their wake up call. It was finally their wake up call. Then that was the week. That was like 2 weeks prior to today when they finally put Matthew Stafford on IR, or probably yesterday, but just recently.
The Steelers were fined for the same thing with Big Ben Roethlisberger earlier in the year. I don't know if it was $110,000, but they were fined like around $75,000 to $80,000.
Yeah, you messaged that to me off the air on my personal Twitter account at DT2Phillips. So yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty sure Ed knows about it too. Yeah, because we follow along, not only Michigan sports but all the rest of sports too. We do scouting reports. Oh yeah, we do a lot of dirty work. So yeah, so I did want to read some quotes. I know back to the article. The Fords don't plan to sell the team. They quote expect to be a playoff contender. That says that from coming from team president Rod Wood.
Translation 8-8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll be a playoff contender in a year where, at best, 9-7 will probably get you into the playoffs if you win the division.
Or if you win a wild card spot.
Wait! Wasn't the Seahawks? Weren't they 7-9 the year they beat the Saints? Or was it? I'm sure they were 8-8 or one of those.
I think that was the Beast Mode game.
Exactly.
I mean, let's put it this way: somebody from the NFC East can be 8-8, make the playoffs.
Yeah, but that's what President Rod Wood said. They're going to be a playoff contender. No, they're not. They're not going to be a playoff contender anytime soon with this GD regime. For goodness sake, my gosh. Oh, man.
They'll be draft day contenders. They'll be draft day contenders.
Yeah.
They'll draft another tight end.
Yep, kind of.
So they don't get injury prone and or forget to drop the ball.
Yeah, and TJ Hawkinson. Yeah, drop the ball. Yeah, Eric Ebron. Yep.
But he's tall and looks like Gronk. I thought that would be a home run.
Who cares if we need a pass rusher like Devin Bush? Look at him.
I know, right? Oh, boy. And there's even more. President Rod Wood says the team has plans in place to ensure the Fords keep the ownership and of the team and, quote, wants more fans to continue to support the team, which I get. It's not going to do them any good. And for Ford Field to be full and be the home field advantage that it can be, unquote. Well, so far it has not been earned at all this year, and it probably won't be anytime soon for the next, 2, 3, maybe 5 years.
Just be careful about that, because look at what's happening in Cincinnati and Washington. Their stadiums are near empty. Apathy is at alarmingly high levels. You keep up with this road, you keep a few more mediocre seasons, I think the fans tune out.
Yeah, we saw this before. Remember, we saw this before in the Matt Millen years, how we saw angry fan protests, games being blacked out. Granted, Ford Sr. still kept them on, even though you had no choice, for some reason, waited until middle of 2008 to finally fire him. But still, that was the point of where the fan base had reached its breaking point. And to me, I haven't seen that yet with this, because they're still selling out that stadium. They're still going to games. They're still paying tickets. They're still giving this family their money. So when they stop doing that and you start saying, oh my goodness, they're actually taking games off TV because you can't get sellouts, especially nowadays, the way the NFL is trying to crack down on that, you would think, hey, maybe this could be a wake-up call of some sorts. But, like I said, the Fords have been tone deaf now for literally decades. So if that doesn't do it, I don't know what will.
Well, probably just Martha Ford passing away. Maybe then and only then, at that moment, Bill Ford Jr. will be most likely to sell the Lions, kind of like when Marion Ilitch in the near future passes away. Chris Ilitch might be most likely to sell the Tigers and still keep the Red Wings because he
and
by
the way,
move.
this is all knock on wood. We are not personally saying, oh my goodness, I wish they would drop dead. No, that's not what we're speaking of, for the record, people.
No. We're only predicting that when they do. Yeah,
because it's all inevitable anyway for all of us.
Right. We're just going to let that slide. Absolutely. Yeah. So, Tree, any thoughts on that?
Not really. I mean, all you can really say is just what you guys have said.
Yep. So we killed about a half hour the Lions. So,
well, they've been killing up our lives, our stress and lifespan for half our lives. So it's even.
Pretty much. I mean, at least you're not Cleveland. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
They're more a high-profile train wreck. You guys are more like the low-profile. We're going to keep stuff quiet in the background and not make noise. And instead,
thank you very much.
Blew up.
Thanks very much. Yeah, we killed all the time. We're in my area, where the local 32 newscasts at 10, that Fox affiliate, where my favorite 9 and 10 news personality, Megan Vaselli, is doing her 10 o'clock newscast. Again, she's a U of M guy, but yeah, that's pretty much all the time we killed here talking Lions here. So yeah, it's 10:29, soon to be 10:30. So there. Let's jump ahead to the Red Wings here. Of course, they're still dead last in the NHL, but we're going to go. Yeah, they lost 2 straight to the Kings and then the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets are better. The Red Wings were having an awful game against the Kings, and that's tanking for you. But the main part I want to get to is Mike Babcock mistreating Franzen. He was yelling at Franzen when Franzen had concussion-like symptoms in the 2012 Western Conference Finals, and things got worse for Johan Franzen. And then and then a week later, we heard that Darren McCarty was blaming Mike Babcock for the 2009 Stanley Cup loss, probably because he was misusing Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg at that time. So we're going to start with Ed again, and then we'll shift it on to Urinating Tree. Ed, you've read the articles. What's your analysis on that?
Well, I had notes that you probably read on the air last week, but I have no problem repeating them here. The issue concerning – I've always had the experience that Babcock was this surly, sourly, almost prickish kind of character, the way how he would handle and talk to coaches, not just his players, but also media people. Like, I mean, I can remember granted, personal story, several years back, my high school is being sponsored for Journalism Day. We get to go down to the Joe, see the team practice and everything, have a mock press conference, the whole experience, right? School newspaper, all that sort of thing. And I just remember specifically and distinctly asking Babcock a question, and his answer, the way he gave off, was just, it's in your face. It was blunt. But it just gave off a feeling of how he probably talks to and treats his players. So that really doesn't surprise me when we hear that revelation. But like I said, with the issue in regards with Franzen and knowing the fact that he and his body and his brain has gone through so much that, of course, led to his career ending the way it did, and to hear him going through that, hear about him going through that experience, it just really, it just takes Babcock's. It really docks a few points off of Babcock's character, definitely. I don't know if that was intentional on his part or not, but still, especially when you factor in, Tree, you even mentioned the fact that that Babcock has been Neanderthalian when it comes to certain issues, where his thoughts or opinions on head safety or whatnot. But still, you just don't do that, and I just thought that was very disturbing. Now, the issue of McCarty blaming him for the 2009 loss, well, you still had the same group, the same core guys in 2008 that you had in 2009, difference being basically that you had in Marian Hossa. And let's not forget, you had a 3-2 series lead. You could have ended that thing once again in 6 in Pittsburgh, but you didn't. You blew it.
You blew it!
Exactly. So I don't know if
one of my favorite parts on Tree's videos, by the way. Thank you, Tree.
It's always a great chuckle. But I'm not sure if Babcock deserves the sole 100% blame of that team blowing a 3-2 series lead, when considering the fact that Maxine Talbot was the only difference between you winning a cup on your home ice Like, literally, all that talent, all those offensive weapons you have, you only managed only just one goal. Granted, I get it. Marc-Andre Fleury had the game of his life. He's done that several times with several other teams. But still, you have Hall of friggin' Famers and future Hall of Famers on your roster, on your lines, and you can't only get one goal in the biggest game of the year on your home ice. So, yeah, there was just more to go around. I think that was just McCarty being McCarty because, he has his own personality. He likes to say things for his own flair and to prop himself up. So while I get what he was coming from in terms of showing, I guess, a difference of opinion comparing, like, say, Babcock to Scotty Bowman, I think blaming him as the reason that we lost in 2009, it's a bit of a stretch. Are there things that he could have done better in terms of, like, handling the players, especially Datsyuk and Zetterberg? Absolutely. But no, Babcock's being the 100% reason that we lost the cup in 2009, no. That was a full-around team effort.
Yeah. Tree, follow up.
Speaking on your point, I remember his quote about concussions, and it still rings in my head. If a guy says if a guy can still play, he can still play. Like, he doesn't think concussion symptoms are that big of an issue in hockey. And
Nope.
that I feel like a lot of that has to do with how he treated Franzen and a couple other guys like that. Babcock struck me as the kind of guy who can be a total hard ass, and
Yep.
it does not adapt to this modern NHL, and it really shows in how he coached in Toronto. He has not done anything in a decade. Like, I consider him the most overrated coach in the NHL, but that's a different story entirely.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, yeah, he went to in 2003. He took the Ducks to Game 7, and that was his high ceiling part until he was gifted a situation where he had at least 3, if not 4, future Hall of Famers if you want to count Chris Osgood. And that team was a core that gelled and known each other for years, well long before he stepped foot in there. So if anything, I can agree with Babcock saying we won in spite of him in 2008. I can agree more with that, more so than saying he's the reason we lost in 2009.
They were a machine in 2008. Like, they could not be stopped. Even, like, with the Penguins, it's just like, Jesus, this is an entirely different hemisphere in comparison to what the Pens were. But in 2009, it's a combination of, like, players getting older. Like, the Pens were a little more experienced. Weren't the Red Wings dealing with a lot of injuries that year?
Some guys, we're nicked and tucked, and we're doing some nicks here and there. And I will give credit, right? I think the Pens were personally motivated by seeing the Wings celebrate with the cup on their home ice, knowing they were that close last year. I think you got to give more credit to Pittsburgh as well, because Crosby, love him or hate him, there are reasons why he is the face of the league and the face of hockey for what he did in 2009 and obviously in the years since, winning multiple cups then. So I think some credit has to be given to Pittsburgh in that regard.
Yeah, I think also, too, like, a lot of age showed in some of the Wings that year. You remember the Pens had a good deal of youth. You remember Max Talbot having the playoff of his life. Marc-Andre Fleury with his diving save in the final seconds against Lidstrom. You have
don't forget Malkin.
Stahl, Malkin, Ruslan Fedotenko, the old playoff hero. Yep. The Gil Scuderi line that was an epitome of shutdown. It would be an analytics nightmare. I mean, but
and Dan Bosma was still, and Bosma was still seen as a popular enough coach back then too. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, Bosma had just come into the league, and he had come in with Therrien's system, but he loosened everything up. That was the key. Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't change anything. It's just like he's not Michel Therrien. That's what happened.
Yeah, and by the way, Bylsma, for those wondering, he's one of the assistant coaches to head coach Jeff Blashill of the Detroit Red Wings.
That's why I'd be afraid.
And possibly your next future head coach as well.
Because he got exposed bad, both in Pittsburgh later on and in Buffalo. So be careful if you think he's the answer, because he's not. And I know this from experience.
Yep. Yeah, we've noticed that you labeled Dan Bylsma as a cheerleader on one of those Congrats Steelers videos. Mm-hmm. Boy, that was impotent rage.
That was rough.
Oh man, when they got eliminated, after they got eliminated by the Jaguars in the divisional AFC round, at home. My God, they gave up
That was
friggin'
I
points.
saw that coming that year, though. I saw it coming. If you saw the way they were
Week
playing,
5.
like they were 13-3, but it was completely deceiving. They were playing no legitimate quarterbacks. They would have to be bailed out by high-end talent nearly every week because they keep coasting or they have bad defense, and then they'd have this great play by Antonio Brown or Le'Veon or Juju, and then Chris Boswell would kick this amazing field goal, and they won like 4 or 5 games like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and speaking of Antonio Brown, one of my former Chippewa, yeah, he's back enrolling at CMU, by the way. Ed, go ahead.
I think, well, as far as AB, I really think I wouldn't be surprised if, down the road and they re-examine his brain, you can trace literally the moment where his CTE started to sip in. And, if anybody raised their hand and says, the Vontaze Burfict hit, I wouldn't be disappointed if they got that answer right, because it seems all stemmed from that very moment.
Right. Le'Veon Bell, is he still playing with the Jets, the former MSU Spartan?
Yeah, he hasn't had the greatest season. He's still playing. He got into a bit of heat because he was bowling when he was out of a game being sick.
Oh wow, yeah. Just the way Le'Veon Bell just called in.
Now apparently they had already sent him home before, but still, it's not a good optics look.
Yeah. Well, it reminded that's Le'Veon, though. He's never been an optics guy, so
kind of reminds me when Tree pointed out that he was having a party in Miami on jet skis and slapping asses at strip clubs. Oh my God!
Well, that was during a holdout.
Yep, yeah. When he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Before his game in Jacksonville, like he no-showed practice, like a couple days before that game.
Oh man, yeah. He probably reported a fake injury while he just wanted to have fun on his own. So yeah, that's a former.
Tree, would you say though that there's some improvement in the culture of the locker room in terms of knowing that AB is gone, Le'Veon is gone, and you got to believe somewhere in the next couple of years Ben's going to be gone too. Do you feel there's going to be like some type of improvement where we don't have that growing locker room cancer feeling like there was in the past couple seasons and years?
I feel like it's kind of been starting to go away, but at the same time, it's just like it's still kind of there. But last year was just ridiculous. It was every week, and it was just
so it's like a low key remission. Basically,
yeah, what it feels like. Let's put it this way: your biggest defenders are gone. Joey Porter, AB, and Le'Veon. They're gone. Ben's been pretty much left in the sideline because of his injury. Tomlin has focused more on coaching instead of trying to hush everything. Trying to cover up for guys like AB and Le'Veon and that sort.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. The Steelers had some superstars, and that, but they realized they were cancer.
And unfortunately, getting rid of the cancer cost us our offense. So be it.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go through that just to start fully healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. With Mason Rudolph out for the rest of the season. He suffered a season-ending injury. That's that poor guy.
No, he came back from that. He just got benched because he started playing terribly.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he's not 100%, but who knows?
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, who wouldn't be after getting their skull crushed in by a football helmet?
Oh God, yeah. They should have shut him down. They should have shut him down for the rest of the season. They should have. I mean, really, just the way the Lions last year misused Matthew Stafford, but they misused him again in Chicago, and then they finally put him on IR, Matthew Stafford. We're touching on the Lions yet again. Well, we can touch on any of our teams whenever we want to.
It's Lions season, man.
It always comes back to the Lions.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, but yeah, Babcock is gone. He was fired by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Sheldon Keefe, the new head coach. The Leafs are starting to catch on fire again, by the way.
Okay. Like, they're more middle of the road. Like, they're not going to be like the world beaters a bunch of people expected them to, but sometimes that takes time. Like,
right.
They are 6-4 in their last 10, so they're okay.
Yeah,
but
they're warming up. They're warming up.
There's time.
Yeah, there is time. Yep. So not much to discuss about the Pistons. Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond came back from injury. They were playing the NBA champion Toronto Raptors. They lost 112-99. They lost to Dallas 122-111 in Mexico City last week. But last weekend they went to Houston and beat the Rockets 115-107, even without Andre Drummond. Is this really a joke? Wow.
The Houston Rockets have been a weird team this year. So
very.
A break for the Pistons, I guess. Yikes.
To me, for the Pistons, I think it's starting to come down to a point of where, when and where do you trade who you got to trade, because Drummond is likely going to opt out and is going to want a big max contract this summer. Blake's here is still here for the next couple of years. Right. I think Reggie's contract is expiring, if not this year, then the year after.
Get rid of him.
You got to find some way to move these pieces, because the franchise is going nowhere. Okay, obviously there's players that I want to keep. I want to keep Luke Kennard. I would like to keep Sekou Doumbouya and a couple other guys, but everyone else, you're up for sale. It's open season on you. That's Blake, that's Andre, that's Reggie, that's whomever, except for the guys that I just mentioned. So I would start there, see what I can get. Can I get some depth? Can I get some draft picks? Can I get some cap space? Any combination of those three. That's
where
I would start.
Can I get more defensive players?
Yeah, this season, you're not going to go anywhere this season. What's your ceiling? Getting up to a 7-8 seed and getting curb stomped in the first round again. So you would rather just, if you want to go full tank, just finish what you were trying to start doing a couple weeks ago. Trade off these pieces, go full tank, and you're going to get yourself a high draft pick. Hopefully, I pray to God you don't select LaMelo Ball in 2020, because that would just be the end of my life as a Detroit Pistons fan right there, knowing I have to see that clown of a father in and around the city. But still, you at least have a chance to get a high prospect. And with all this available cap space, maybe see what you can learn free agency for not 2020, if not 2021, and see where it goes from there. But that will be near my top priority if I'm Ed Stefanski right now. I would keep Dwayne Casey, by the way, because I feel he's a good quality head coach. Just you need to get him proper defenders. That's all you need.
Except he's playing Thon Maker more over Christian Wood. I don't even know why. That is not as smart as I wanted him to be.
I think he's figured Thon is, of course, the naturally bigger man, so you need more rim protection. That'll be my only yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess probably on defense. Thon Maker's probably
more
failed
so defense. More so, yeah. Thon's been a massive disappointment. Disappointment. That's why I'm waiting for Sekou Doumbouya to hurry the hell up and develop.
Got to get rid of Thon Maker first.
Well, yeah, that'll help too. Don't worry, he's going to be on the chopping block for pieces I want to see moved before the deadline.
I want to touch on Luke Kennard. He's been having the best season of his career. He's been really shooting red hot. Remember his 30-point game in Indiana in the season opener when they won? Oh my God!
Yeah,
he made a statement right there.
Well, he's been getting. Well, it doesn't surprise me when he's getting more minutes now. He's getting more chance in the rotation. He's not being, of course, like with Reggie Jackson being down and being paired with Derrick Rose, gives him more opportunity to be available to shoot. So it doesn't surprise me that really the Kennard is having this type of production. Obviously, there's the stigma of, oh my goodness, he's not Donovan Mitchell or anybody else that was picked in his draft class after him.
That comparison, huh?
Yeah, but I did like, from the middle point of last season up to now, obviously, he's showing very good development. I don't know if it's going to be proven to be worthy enough of high lottery pick, but I do like where his ceiling is heading so far.
Tree, any
That's why.
follow-up?
Yep.
I really don't have much else to add there. I mean, you can't really say much. Otherwise, at least you have D Rose. But I mean, are you really going anywhere?
D Rose has
question
so
is-
much talent. He still has a lot left. Still has plenty left in the tank, if not a lot.
Yeah, he just needs to get better at his free throws and not turning the ball over so many times.
Oh yeah, those are two cons right there. Yep. Yeah, gotta fix those. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, he's got to help himself. I know the team can't help him much, but still, he's got to help himself more.
Mhm.
But yep. Let's go to the Tigers before we get to some college stuff. We heard that after Ronnie Rodriguez got claimed by the Milwaukee Brewers off waivers, the Tigers used to be utility guy, a utility infielder or something like that, mostly a second baseman or something like that. General manager Al Avila, like 6 months after his or 5 months or whatever after Chris Selick signed to a non-detailed multi-year extension, which I exploded on Periscope. Al Avila said that the Tigers are rebuilding in a different way, and I know, right, Tree?
Yeah, you're a traditional rebuild. Just say it.
Yeah,
You're not even
Especially
doing
now that the old
well.
man is gone.
Mike Ilitch, yeah. Chris Ilitch just lets Al Avila get away with it. Just Chris Ilitch doesn't really care. He's got to sell the team. He's got to sell the Tigers, really. I mean, come on, really. It's just, I don't think there was much dialogue on his comments. They were just completely asinine. There was no proof whatsoever.
I mean, how can you rebuild? Yeah, you have a couple of good pitching prospects, but what is your bats? What does your lineup look like? Like, what compared to what you had, like, say, 3 years ago, in terms of starting lineup for Major League Baseball standards, compared to now, is shocking. So what development have you done with your farm system, at the very least, where you produce adequate level bodies and depth for your lineup, for your offense, and, of course, your pitching? But still, it's just there. It's just not there. Completely barren almost.
Right. Tree follow-up.
And that's even to say, like, if you can even develop hitters, because I haven't seen much of that in that regard either. You have a couple pitchers. I mean, most of the returns you've gotten in your trades have done nothing or have been injured. You have you still have a couple awful contracts. I mean, Zimmerman's going to be gone after this year. You could maybe eat that salary if you feel like he's bad enough.
After this year, 2019, or do you mean next year, 2020?
Yeah, you still got to deal with Cabrera as his career withers away year by year.
4 years of him, I say.
Oh,
I think.
Jesus.
You're not going to be able to trade him.
No.
I mean, my question is, like, if you are truly trying to rebuild, why are you keeping Matt Boyd and Daniel Norris? Those are your best trade pieces.
Yeah, and
because Al Avila is your general manager. That's why.
Yet Boyd and Norris don't even perform to people's expectations.
But
by
even
the way,
then, you've still got. I mean, like, you had
Zimmerman's
like a great closer in Shane.
Shane Green.
Shane Green.
Oh, wait.
Sorry. Yeah, you had him, and then you didn't get much of a return.
Language,
for
Tree.
him.
Language. Yep. Yeah. Yep. But it could be edited. But when did Zimmerman's contract expire? 2019 or 2020? Anybody look it
Green?
up? Jordan Zimmerman, not Shane
Zimmerman's
Green.
is next year. I remember that because of the vid I did on them.
Yeah. The modern tragedy. Yeah. Yeah.
Cabrera is still 3 years after that.
Next year, he makes 2020. He makes 25 mil, and he is a free agent after that. You're free.
Oh my God, 25 million for maybe.
When you get desperate.
Thank you, Dave Dombrowski.
No, that wasn't Dombrowski. That was after he had gotten fired. That was Avila.
Oh, that was Avila.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that was after he gotten fired. Let's look at
Cabrera.
Cabrera. Let's look at this damage.
The Zimmerman deal, yeah.
4 years left plus 2 options.
Oh yeah,
Oh no.
Yikes.
2 freaking options. Oh
and they're
no!
all at
Decline them both,
2 at
please.
30, 30, 32, and 32 mil.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, that's way overpaid. Almost like not nearly like Bobby Bonilla, who's even signed with the Mets until 2035. Holy!
Well, now that was Dombrowski, and that's what happens when you pay for past performance instead of future.
Dombrowski was a general manager with the Mets back then.
No,
the
Dombrowski
Marlins
was with the
Marlins.
Trying to think. He was with the Marlins, I think.
Oh yeah, Bobby Bonilla was with the Mets at one time actually. 2019. Every Bobby Bonilla day, you would do a video on the Mets. That latest one, man, that was awesome.
Oh, that's
I gotta say though,
Mets keep doing what they do.
Yeah, I know. It's just I gotta say though, for the Tigers, like I really don't have too much of a hope for them. Yeah, if Mize and Manning become what they're supposed to be, good, but you still need hitters, you still need bats, and to me, like I don't know when you're gonna be able to get one in a near time soon. Like if maybe Vlad Guerrero Jr. is a free agent? Is that then?
Yeah. So definitely. We're at 10:54. We're going to probably end at 11:04. Let me text Breck here real quickly, and then we'll buy us a little bit of extra time to do some college stuff. That's pretty much all Tigers there. They signed veteran catcher Austin Romine. Did I mention they hired a new hitting coach, Joe Vavra, after they demoted Lloyd McClendon to bench coach?
Lloyd McClendon is still there? Good God.
Yeah. Big Littlefield's still there. That's all you need to know.
Even Gene Lamont left them, but Lloyd is still there?
Like, I'm getting flashbacks to, like, the dark ages of the Pirates with those names. Gene Lamont, Lloyd McClendon, Dave Littlefield. Like, dear God. That's your future?
What? Oh, man. The Tigers are still in trouble.
But, hey, at the very least, they're retiring Lou Whitaker's number, so good on them.
Tracy are in there in some regard.
Yeah, they retired Lou Whitaker's number. Yeah. By the way, that Hall of Fame stuff, he got screwed on. Lou Whitaker.
Agreed.
That's more on like what the reporters like. I mean, Harold Baines can make it in with a rather meh career because he's just had a long career.
Yeah, I guess only 2 were able to make it. But
yeah, I mean, let's put it this way: Larry Walker not being in the Hall of Fame is a travesty.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got about 7 and change minutes here. Why don't we go ahead and transition to college stuff? The Tigers are in deep trash. Another flaming trash until Chris Sillett sells the team. So, definitely we're going to be broadcasting live on Spreaker, not until January 8th. That's in 3 weeks. We are off next week on Christmas Day. We're off on New Year's Day 2020, which cannot come soon enough for crying out loud, for crying out sideways. 2019 was eventful for me personally. But yeah, at least the only team, by the way, that in baseball that's good in the state of Michigan is the Traverse City Pittsbitters of the Northwoods League. In their inaugural season, they won the Northwoods League championship. I was there at the championship game. They beat the Eau Claire Express 3-2 in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Eau Claire Express committed 4 errors. TC, Traverse City, didn't even commit any. That's the proof why defense proof that defense wins championships. Not just games, but championships. That's the bottom line. Because the truth is out there. So Michigan losing to Illinois and then Oregon. They lost they lost at Illinois, man. Then they lost in overtime at home to 13th ranked Oregon, which shouldn't drop Michigan to 14th actually in the AP poll. Michigan State climbed back up to 15th with wins at with a big win over the Oakland Golden Grizzlies, 72-49, and then earlier tonight, they beat Northwestern. They had to hang on 77-72 in Big Ten play. Don't know what their schedule looks like next, but we'll move forward to college football. The Michigan Wolverines are are going to face the Alabama Crimson Tide in the Citrus Bowl. They're going to get crushed. No prediction needed there. Michigan State against Wake Forest in the Pinstripe Bowl, probably December 27th. That should be a good one. We'll make a quick prediction on that instead. Ed, we'll start with you.
Man, this just seems so weird and random. Outdoors in the cold at Yankee Stadium.
The Bronx.
This seems to be the type of weather that's built for D'Antonio ball, run the ball, play defense, milk the clock, yada, yada, yada. So by that nature, of course, I'm going to pick Wake Forest 17, Michigan State 14, because I am a bitter Wolverine.
Not only that, but State's offense sucks. Tree, predict.
That too.
Michigan State has been struggling all year long. They've been a big disappointment in college football to me. Wake Forest has been okay. I know you guys are pretty high on D'Antoni. I think he's a solid coach. He's just having a down year, and I think it shows in this bowl, even with the Yankees in the cold.
Tree, all due respect, it's been more than that. It's been quite a good number of years now. It's been D'Antonio being too stubborn to fire his buddies because they go to church with him, rather than realizing, hey, your coaching is not good for my football team, so I have to let you go. But he won't do that because he's friends. It's buddy system. It's the same thing that killed John L. Smith when he was there. And it's the same thing that's starting to kill his legacy there as well. Go back to 2016 with a 3-9 season. 2017 was an outlier, okay? They looked horrible in 2018, and they looked horrible this year. And D'Antonio, the year by year, that if he's not making changes or chooses not to make changes, is putting a damper on what he's done little by little. It's not going to tarnish it, no, because he brought it the depths, not the depths, but the heights we hadn't seen in a long, long time when he arrived. But, at least Harbaugh, as much of a red behind that he can behind, and much of a stubborn mule he can be, at least he recognizes, nope, things have to change when they need to change. That's why you saw them hire Josh Gaddis. I wish, if you're a Michigan State fan, you would wish D'Antonio would give an inkling that he would do something similar to that, but he has not. And I don't think he's ever going to will. For as long as he's going to be there. He essentially, for all intents and purposes, runs that program, and it was one of the guys that runs that school along with Izzo. Okay, it's not the head officials. Trust me, we at past events and news headlines for the past few years have told us that it's far from that. It's far from the other way around.
Yeah, just in case you haven't been following around, Tree. So, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't go that deep into Michigan State, so that helped out a good bit.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yep, though. So what's your prediction, Trey, before we get to the closing statement?
I said I picked Wake Forest.
Yep. In a close one? Yep. Yeah, I'm going to go 20-13, Demon Deacons. So closing statement, Ed, go. 1 minute.
Well, since this is likely the closing statement of the year, I want to say, it's been a weird journey, so to speak, weird microcosm of what things have looked like and what things will look like. There are things to be optimistic about. You hope that prospects will come well for the Tigers. You would hope that the Lions get a good draft pick, that the Red Wings rebuild goes well, and the Pistons do something by trading some assets. But there's also realities that the Ford family is not going anywhere. Chris Ilitch is not going anywhere. And, there's a lot of bleak things that are not going around there. But still, preservation of hope is always the key. And as long as you have that around you, things will not always be as bleak as things are perceived to be. So that just applies to sports. That applies to so many things in life in general, and applies to what you can apply to what you want to make for yourself in your life. So everybody that's had a rough 2019, I will say this,
including me,
it's still here now. And if you're still here now, congrats, you've made it. Now let's see what you can do for 2020.
Yep. Tree, closing statement, 1 minute, go.
I was going to say, I mean, welcome to the dark ages, Detroit. I mean, you've been there for a while, but I mean, it looks like nothing's really changed with the Lions, the Tigers, the Red Wings are still paying for the sins of Ilitch. Michigan football is Michigan football. Michigan State's still kind of there. Basketball, you might have some hope, but then maybe upside Sweet 16 before you lose to like Virginia or Duke. But in the meantime, though, that really doesn't matter at the end of the day because you're still alive, you're breathing, you have your friends and family. You have everything around you that's, that cherishes you. And I want to wish everybody that's watching or listening in, I should say, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, Festivus. Have a Happy New Year.
Yep.
Stay healthy, stay safe. Enjoy everything about life because you don't know when it's going to be taken from you. And sports are just a minor aspect of that.
Tree, tell 5 Points Fitz I said hi. Thank you very, very much for being a special guest.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yep.
No problem, Tree.
Yep. Ed, thank you for stepping up again. We will be back in 3 weeks, like we mentioned before, for Ed Smith and 5 Points Vids on behalf of Frank Basher, who was in Detroit earlier. I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow the show on Twitter at Periscope and Instagram at Michigan_Truth. Follow the Staples Network on Twitter at Staples Network. Like us on Facebook and the Staples Network on Facebook, the Michigan Sports Truth Podcast. Thanks very much for downloading and sharing. And remember, the truth is out there. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. TTFN. Ta-ta for now. Bon appetit. Hit 'em with a high.